I want you to imagine this, okay? There's this 4-year-old little girl who loves to sing and dance and play dress up. So much so that every day to the Jimmy Fund Clinic for treatments, she wears a princess dress to help cheer up the other kids, but she doesn't understand that she's actually one of them. Underneath the dress, a port and a G-tube lay to help her with her meds, her nutrition, and her chemotherapy. She was starting to go bald, so she had hair in some places, bald in some others. She had this thing called double vision, where she sees double of everything, so she wore a very stylish eye patch. And on top of it all, she just learned how to walk and talk again. This person was me. I'm proud to say that I'm a brain tumor patient and survivor, but I'm also a teenager that wants to go out on school nights or hang out with friends on the weekends and then be able to go to school the next day. But sadly, that's only a wish. Chronic pain from 4 brain surgeries pulls me back from doing too much in fear of grueling headaches that sometimes prevent me from getting out of bed in the morning. But when that happens, when all you see and feel and hear about is this pain, the world starts to get dark and it closes in around you. But it's one thing, one tiny gesture from a family member or a friend that can pull you out of this darkness. I now mentor a little girl who has a serious muscular condition, and she's in a wheelchair. She's the happiest little girl I have ever met. And one day she came up to me and she was like, Kira, guess what? You'll never believe it. And I was like, what? I mean, I thought that she got a good grade in school or something, but then she said, I'm getting a new wheelchair, and it's one that I can move myself around in by myself, so you don't have to anymore. She's the happiest little girl I have ever met, even though she's in a wheelchair. And it made me say to myself, who do I think I am? I have no right to be throwing myself a pity party right now. Because the reality of the situation is, the kids that grew up with me, the kids in the clinic with me, and they were gone. They had lost their battle. But I didn't. I'm still here. So what am I going to do with my second chance? What can I do with my second chance? For one, I can appreciate what I have, not what I miss out on. Sure, I can't go to a friend's house without pain following me around, but I'm alive. Every day I defy the odds, because at one point, my family didn't think I was going to have a future. According to Dr. Rick Hansen, a neuropsychologist and author of Hardwiring Happiness, we can counter the brain's negative emotions by appreciating and lingering on those tiny positive moments, basically choosing happiness. My mom started recording all the things I, as a 4-year-old, would say. And I'm going to be honest, till this day, she can't talk about this story without crying. But it was on a day that everything that could have gone wrong did. My family and I, we were struggling. And my mom was so upset and tired and frustrated. And little Kira just looked up at her and said, Mommy, you can choose to be sad or you can choose to be happy. I choose to be happy. Little Kira was wise beyond her years. Emotions are everything. When you grow up in the clinic, at the hospital, you learn a lot of important life lessons really quickly, like don't put things in your mouth. Dancing and singing like a princess will definitely get the attention you crave, and if you say you're nauseous, you'll get some free crackers. On a serious note, I was a master at getting my port accessed by age 5, and I also learned how to take out my G-tube and put it back in all by myself by age 9, and I was teaching practicing nurses how to in a class. But the most important lesson I have ever learned was in the 3rd grade. I will never forget this. My mom pulled me out of school to tell me my best friend in the entire world was dying. because the doctors couldn't help her anymore. So I will never forget the last time I spoke to her. I went over to her house, and she didn't want me to go and see her because she was starting to get really sick and very pale. So I stayed downstairs while she was upstairs, and as I was about to leave, I screamed, "I love you." Sorry. And she screamed back, "I love you too." That moment replays in my head. If some days it doesn't feel worth it, like I can't do this anymore and I just want to throw in the towel, I remember that moment. I remember how we wanted to grow up and what she wanted to do with her life, how we wanted to raise our children together and how we wanted to grow old together. But just because she doesn't get to, doesn't mean I should give up. So I won't. When I described what it used to look like at the beginning of my diagnosis, I'm pretty sure you took one look at me and thought that this person has nothing in common with her. I mean, I look like a healthy 16-year-old, right? But something that isn't visible is the lasting effects this experience has had on me. I like to call them invisible illnesses. Invisible illnesses range from chronic pain, depression, anxiety, diabetes even, learning disabilities. The range is wide. People used to come up to me and say that I was an inspiration and that I was so brave. But I never really understood why. I mean, that was my childhood. That's all I ever knew. Sure, I was a little confused when I showed up to kindergarten and it was like, hey, why does everyone have hair? You know? But I was just doing what I had to do. It was normal. I mean, the community I grew up in was these brain tumor moms and dads that held each other up when the going got tough. I mean, that's where I got it. That's where I got the brave behavior. So I think as a community, we need to be more like the moms and dads. Hold each other up, support each other. And look, I'm not saying I have this all figured out because, trust me, I don't. I'm not motivated and happy and, I don't know, bubbly all the time, because if I said that, that would be a total lie. I mean, there are some days that I'm frustrated and tired and I just want to throw in the towel and say that I'm done. But I can't. It's normal to feel like you can't. It's normal to feel like crap. Hold on to that negative emotion. Don't say to yourself that you shouldn't be feeling it. It's okay to feel like you can't. But when that emotion passes, because it will, then you can really appreciate how beautiful life really is. I'm 16. I'm not here to lecture you about how I have life all figured out, because trust me, I don't, and life has many more opportunities to kick me in the rear. But I guess my truth to you all is that life is really short. You never know when your last moment is coming. You're not guaranteed every moment on this earth. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to be kind? Hold the door open for someone on your way out? Or smile at someone who you think might need it? Appreciate the little things that you have? Or choose happiness? It's not easy, and I know that, but you can. I'm learning to. I guess little Kira was right. You can choose happiness. Thank you.